Hi everyone, welcome to Deadline Dilemmas. Pras, how you doing, my friend?
Dude, we are recording after the Man United game. It was a pathetic performance, but in the end, at least Man United won. So I'm in a much better mood. I'm glad we delayed recording this because we were, it was so bad that I was like, should I just tell Mo that we record this? Because I'm not watching this. It was so bad for the first 80 minutes, but I'm
It,
much happier. How are you doing?
I'm very good, thank you very much. I enjoyed that match. I was getting a bit of a laughing a little bit, to be honest, with some of my mates,
Of
Liverpool
course.
group. We were actually laughing. We were thinking, wait a minute, this Southampton team is the worst team in the last 20 years in the
Yeah.
Premier League. Very, very poor, and they are about to pull off a win. In the back of my mind, though, Praz, I did think they wouldn't get the win. I didn't think they would hold up, to be honest. So yeah, so
The
you
thing is,
must
with these
be.
teams, you capitulate basically. Once you concede one, then basically it falls apart. And look, with Man United, and I don't want to spend this stream on Man United because people are not happy, especially the Bruno Fernandes owners. Um, the thing is, you see this all the time. It's nothing new. Where against the good teams, Man United are this team which basically we have got lots of runners and people who can make that diagonal pass, catch the runner, and then score, right? So
Yeah,
that's against a good team on the counter. They do well against bad teams or teams that say, okay, you can have the ball. We don't know what to do with the ball. Apart from Bruno, nobody knows how to pass.
agree. Totally agree. When you watch this team, you can tell that Amarim
So
still got.
it was one of those. But enough on Man United. I think got there in the end. People with Bruno got 2 goals.
The internet is playing up a little bit. I can see it. Hopefully, it's gonna start flowing again, Prez. I can see. Can you hear me all right, Prez? Yeah? I'm just double checking there.
Yep,
Okay, sorry. I was gonna say,
I can
yeah,
hear
no,
you,
Man
but it
United.
went out for a second.
Yeah, I did notice that. Yeah, I'm not quite sure what's going on today, but yeah, agree with you. No more Man United chat, but you got there in the end, so I'm glad you're in a better mood. It would have been a bit more difficult to talk FPL, I reckon, with you losing to Southampton. So this week we're gonna, as it's been short
Exactly.
turnaround, Press, we're gonna jump in and just quick debrief regarding our game week 21 before we move on to our dilemmas for game week 22. So I'm gonna bring up my team here, run you through it here. So it was an okay game week, to be honest, Perez. I mean, I had no players playing today, so I was at the mercy of. I saw Pedro, for example. He was my first bench. He blanked, so I was like, okay,
Yeah.
I've dodged one. Um, Bruno was the other one. I got fortunate to dodge because, as you know, me and you both went him when Saka got injured. But I, unlike you, I didn't keep the faith, and he was
Mm.
unlucky to not return today, Prez.
He's always unlucky, man. But I wouldn't say this was a prime Bruno performance. I think I'm quite happy to take 4 points out of it as a Bruno owner. Yes,
Yeah,
he had one shot where he could have, just dinked the keeper and scored. He created a couple of chances. That's why he got the BPS, right? But I
yeah,
think they have been better. Like I expected more in this game. Obviously not Ahmad style a hat trick, but I think
ha,
I was expecting a Bruno 10-pointer in this game, so it's a little bit underwhelming. But it's fine. That's what Bruno is. He can score against the tougher team.
totally agree. So in my game week sales, he was the superstar, which was sour grapes because it was against my team and I wanted him to concede more Praz. But you know how FPL works; it didn't work out like that. He was absolutely incredible in that game.
There was that 20-minute period in the second half, which I was like, what is he doing? Like there is no way to score. And then there was one in which Salah beat him and then Aina cleared it off the line. And I was
Yeah,
like, dude, this Forest team, it's like the opposite of Arsenal and the City of old, where they would
yeah,
concede one shot, one goal, done.
yeah,
And with
totally.
Forest, they're like conceding shot after shot, but they just managed to hold on. They just managed to not concede.
They really frustrated me, but you can see where they are in the league. They're on merit. They're very, very strong. They've got the perfect formula. They're so strong defensively. In midfield, very workmanlike, and then they've got the speed wide, and they've got that Haaland Mark II up front, literally
Mm.
one touch, one goal. So yeah, that annoyed me, that fixture, in many ways. Let's just say that. But sales delivered. Gabriel, I thought we were conned out of a assist. What do you reckon, Prez?
I don't know, man. And to be honest, I don't care that much. He's like 50% owned or
Yeah,
even more, like in the more engaged community. Look, I think the consensus is he hit Dragusin. Dragusin then deflected it off Solanke and Solanke put it in. So people are saying, oh, Gabriel touched it. Yeah, but he then touched it and hit it onto
yeah,
Dragusin. If that's the case, it's fine, man. Like it's not the end of the world. It's 3 points.
agree. Hall keeping up his form. Newcastle are absolutely flying. So the triple up Newcastle is coming really, really good.
It was a
Trent,
close goal, right? A VAR offside. So
yeah,
I
yeah.
had actually prematurely celebrated the Newcastle clean sheet wipeout because it happened right after Gordon went off, but not to be.
But yeah, not bad. He's still returning. He's the only return in my back four. So we'd take it. Trent, nah, he was very involved, like I thought he would be, but couldn't break down that Nottingham Forest defense. Midfield, our captain, me and you both captained. We'll look at your team quickly in a minute, but just Palmer, he came in clutch. Salah, only the third blank this season, Prez. And 2 blanks are both against Nottingham Forest.
Yeah.
Unreal. In Bumo, very unlucky. Nearly that last shot that was cleared off the line by Ake. I think that was
Was that
going
on
in.
target? I mean, he was
I
good
think
otherwise. Was
I
it on
think
target?
I think it was going in, Prez. Yeah,
Yeah.
judging by
I
the
didn't see
way,
the other angle.
yeah, judging by where Ake was standing to header it out, it looked like it, but maybe it could have been crook post.
No, he was good, man. He was good. Yeah, he's
Very
on my
good.
radar. Get in game week 24, 25.
Yeah, I can see why. To be honest, and we'll talk about that when we look at our game week 22 teams. And Gordon, I think not most of us, but a lot of people have jumped on him. You went 1 week earlier than me, and yeah, he's just rewarding us. Saar finally rewarding Raul Jimenez. Now, I think I was duped out of a goal here, surely, Prez. But a 1-pointer, he was so close
I
to
mean,
that. I thought he
he
touched
didn't
it.
touch the ball.
I know,
I mean,
I
it was
know.
close.
I put it out on the socials. I was corrected by so many people. You was one of them. Was like, yeah, he didn't touch the ball. And I was like,
You
yeah.
were no, it was how you put it. You were like, guys, look at this. How come Jimenez didn't get the goal? And I was like, because he didn't touch it.
Yeah, I know. I got it from a couple of people, to be honest. They're like, yeah, because I had no comeback apart from, listen, please, this is FPL. I'm desperate for points here. But he was, you know what? I'm going to talk about him when we reach our Game Week 22 teams. And then Isak, absolute superstar, setting records, 8 goals. So overall, Press, it was actually, I held, you know what it is? I just about held rank, 68 points. Just about held. Not, it's, what's it? Basically just stayed grey arrow. Let's call it that.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people will feel that this week that they huffed and puffed and they got lots of returns across the pitch, but not a lot of gains. But that's because, look, for your whole clean sheet, there was the Fulham, Robinson got points,
Yeah.
Crystal
Yeah.
Palace got a clean sheet. For your
Yes.
Cells 3-pointer, there were other keepers who did well as well. Henderson got Henderson and Verbruggen got clean sheets. So there was competitors on all sort of. If Sar got 6 points, then Rogers also got 6 points. Eze also got 6 points. So it was just one of those weeks where it was very hard to get a massive green arrow unless you had an Ahmad or you captained Isak.
Something like that, exactly that, Press. So I look at this, believe it or not, in a positive, that in a week like this, I still, even? So we'll take it. It's not a red arrow. So, yeah, let's have a look at your team, actually. You, not too bad.
Not bad. Yeah, 77 points. So I was actually very happy. It's a bit like the previous game week, where the last game week of the week, there's an event happens and people's ranks get destroyed. Like last game week, it was Nottingham Forest keeping a clean sheet and Chris Wood scoring. This week, it was Ahmad getting that 20-pointer, whatever he has got. And even Bruno got 4 points. So, I mean, it's a return. I mean, 2 points, bonus points is almost like getting an assist and a yellow card. So I will take it. But yeah, in my goal, look, Raya and Gabriel did not, again, disappointed. But when I look at the performance, they were great. So, it's like anti-Nottingham Forest, where they conceded that Sun goal was so unlucky, man. It was heavily deflected. Raya couldn't have done anything about it. So I'm going to keep faith. I think at some point in the future, when I'll come to my team, Raya will go. Whether he goes to Allison or Pickford, that's a question that I have to answer a little bit later. And it'll come down to actually Fabianski and whether Fabianski keeps his place in the team or not. And I'll explain why when I come to my team. Then in defense, Munoz was good. In the end, I don't know if you saw, Munoz created that chance for Sar and he shot at goal.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, that would have been like a 12-point event. So, but not to be. He was good, but just the clean sheet, which is fine. And then I think our midfields are the same. Instead of Mbomo, I have Bruno, and so he got 2 extra points. And then instead of your Jimenez, I have Chris Wood. Who now the story behind this is when João Pedro's quotes came and the fact that he said this is going to be his first training session on Tuesday. I was like, dude, if he hasn't trained for 8 days, because remember he missed the FA Cup. I was like, there's a very high likelihood that he's on the bench and then he gets injured. comes on for a cameo. Bit like what Welbeck did tonight. So I was expecting Welbeck to start and João Pedro to actually be on the bench. So in the end, João Pedro started and got a 1 point anyway, but I was definitely planning to play João Pedro and bench Chris Wood. So that's an 8-point positive swing for me. But then on the contrary, the Isak swing was also similar. I was going to captain Isak, but then the manager comes in and says, oh, he has not trained. So I got spooked and I didn't captain Isak and I captained Palmer. So I lost in that thing, I lost 6 points. In the Chris Wood thing, I gained 8 points. So it's a net 2-point swing for me positively. And so I will take it. I think 77 is a good score this week. I got a good green arrow from 19K to 15K.
Yeah, it's a good week, Pras. That Chris Wood is defying. He's defying the odds. I don't know how he's doing this. It's literally one chance and he scores it.
It's like how Forest defense are defying it. I mean, their data is good, but they concede a lot of shots. So it's Forest are on something, man. And now they have next home to Southampton. Like you can see it as a 2-0, 3-0 win.
They're riding the wave at the moment, yeah. And it's going to be a nice segue into my team in a minute because that fixture you just mentioned creates a lot of FOMO. And I was looking at the stats today, Praz, of the players being transferred in for this game week. 4 of the top 5 are Nottingham Forest players. It tells you everyone's just jumping on board, whether it's Alanga, Sales, Wood. There's just so many options there now. But is it sustainable for Nottingham Forest?
No one knows. I mean, look at the fixtures. I mean, if you go to the fixture ticker, I mean, I think it's a good segue. If you look at the fixtures for Nottingham Forest and you think, okay, after Southampton home, and I think we did talk about it in one of the videos.
Yeah.
Bournemouth away is hard, man. Like, and doesn't mean they could win, but they should concede. And I think Chris Wood will find it hard to score. Like I plan to bench Chris Wood away to Bournemouth. Then home to Brighton, okay, good. But I think it's a better attacking fixture than a defensive fixture. Then away to Fulham, again, not good. Like Fulham have been solid. Then away to Newcastle, not great at all. Then even after that, they have Arsenal and Man City, the next 2 after that, after Newcastle. At home, though, but look, they conceded to Liverpool as well. So they're good, they're fine, they're decent. If you have, you can keep. But are they a buy? I'm not so sure.
Yeah, I'm not sure about buying. But you know what it is? This week, the entry is so juicy. That's the reason everyone's jumping on board. Southampton, you saw them today. I know they put in a decent performance, let's just say at the start of the game, but once you score 1 or 2, they just crumble. So, but are Nottingham Forest the type of team that once they score 1 or 2, do they keep scoring? I'm not quite sure. So, yeah, I mean, you can't knock it. I've got FOMO not having Chris Wood, and I am thinking he's one of my transfers when we go into my team coming up next. He's one of the players I'm definitely considering, Praz. But yeah, your team done. You had a good game week here, better than me. It's a shame Mbeumo didn't get that goal. I would have been smiling. But that takes us up to our.
Yeah, you got a 19-pointer last week. Can't be greedy.
Yeah, Praz, come on. I need to be greedy. But let's look at my game week. Let's look at my game week 22 team. 4 transfers. I never thought I would see the day
Look at that
when
flex.
I've got four transfers. Unbelievable. 0.8 in the bank. You could argue I could have been aggressive and gained more points this week, maybe, but it is what it is.
Yeah,
so
man,
I'm currently lining up.
Sar to Ahmad. It was so obvious.
Can you imagine? Yeah, exactly. You know how easy FPL is once it's
I'm
finished.
joking.
Oof. I know. But I was going to say, so I've got Sales in goal this week, a much nicer fixture against Southampton. And then Trent gets another run out. I know against Forest, there was no clean sheets. Then we've got the defense. In fact, the defense stays the same. I've got Hall and Gabriel. Those 3 stay the same at the moment. Midfield stays exactly the same. So midfield, let me run through it. Salah, Palmer, Gordon, Saar, and Mbeumo. Up front, I've got Raul Jimenez and Isak. Now, on the bench, I've got Fabianski, Pedro, Timber, and Greaves. So the squad itself is pretty healthy. We know Pedro's yellow flagged in the image, but we know he played today, so no issues there at all. Now, the dilemmas I've got realistically, I'm not sure about transfer-wise. I've got a couple of suggestions I want to run by you, actually. But do I start Pedro instead of Raul Jimenez? Raul Jimenez, even though for his price, and he has returned well recently, he still is frustrating because he does put up good XG, but I don't know. When you look at his XG compared to, say, Chris Woods, for example, I mean, I can't be too frustrated for someone his price.
You don't look at Chris Woods' XG.
I know. That's a mistake,
special.
isn't it? He is,
exactly.
yeah.
Him and Cunha, you don't look at their XG.
they're doing something different. You're right, but
Yeah.
that's realistically the dilemma I've got. So before we talk transfers, what do you think of the setup? So I've still got the double. I've got an Arsenal defender costing me, quite expensive on the bench. And you made a point 2 weeks ago, actually, which now is in my mind. I can't remove it. Is the double Arsenal defense time finished? And that is something that's coming up. But it's where I would go. And if I do bring someone in, how do I even start them? Because the current defense I've already got, Praz, if that makes sense. So this is a dilemma. This is one of the first dilemmas I want to discuss with you. I was thinking I could go Timber to Munoz, sorry, who's excellent, very attacking. The fixtures are still nice. How do I fit him in?
I mean, look, what I would say is let's first think about, you have a lot of transfers, right? So people listening are not in the same luxurious position to be making defender transfers. Like for everyone, the general advice is, guys, accumulate transfers, put out the team you can put out, and just get more information in the next 2 weeks, right? Get as close to 24 as possible, and then decide, is Jota going to be the starter? Do you need to get a double second Liverpool defender? Do you need an Everton defender? Or they're looking absolutely rubbish under David Moyes? Is Mikalenko going to stay? Do they sign a new left back, which a lot of Everton fans are talking about? So these are things that are crucial for a very crucial game week. And frankly, until then, you don't need to touch your defense, because if you have Gabriel, he's playable this week. If you have Trent, he's playable this week. And you have Hall, that is playable this week. So only in your specific case, sitting with 4 free transfers, you're thinking, can I do something? But whoever you get, I don't think you play them above Hall. Like, even if you got Munoz, I'm benching Munoz this week. Yeah. So I'll come to my team. But yeah, he plays West Ham and he could do well. But Hall at home is equally good, if not better. So I don't think you do it. But I also think...
No.
By the way, Timber was excellent. Timber as a defender has been excellent. Whether he's good from an FPL point of view or not, but he's generally absolutely nailed, absolutely great. And so he's not a bad pick. I think Arsenal have an easy fixture next week, if I remember correctly. Wolves at home?
Yeah.
Let me remember.
Here we go. They've got Aston Villa, then Wolves. Yeah, you're right, Brez. Yeah.
So yeah, you play him next week. So, and then you take it from there on what you want to do after. So
next week, though, I will reach the stage,
aren't you?
We can't go over, so it's gonna force my hand. So I've started to do some thinking. If I did go this week, why would you do it and then bench them? Even if I went for a move like Mikalenko, I was at one stage even thinking, well, Pickford maybe, put him in. He's got the double game week coming up. But then Sales has got Southampton this week. Again, like we said, a week too early. So from a defensive perspective, definitely the transfer being rolled, if we're talking just from a defensive perspective, okay? From midfield, again, I'm looking around. I haven't really got much FOMO for this week of any players missing. I'm quite happy with the team. I mean, like you said, you have a Bruno instead of Mbumo, which is neither here or there.
So nothing for me. One thing while we're on midfield, because we want to make it applicable for others as well. Like this week, Ahmad scored points. The week before, somebody else did. Sar's time will come. He got an assist, or Rogers got that Hall couple of weeks ago or 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
I think people just need to chill out. They're all good picks. Ahmad has played Southampton now. So I think you'd have to learn to stick to the 5-point whatever midfielder you have and stay patient. Like Semenyo did well this week as well. A lot of people sold him. You just need to chill out, and over 8 weeks, hope that you're not very unlucky, because over 8 weeks, these midfielders should score similar points. So that's one thing I wanted to say. Like, I would not move out Sar at all.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. At one stage, I was thinking, did I make the wrong decision? I was 50-50. It was so tight between him and Eza. And obviously, in hindsight, it's easy now. Eza has outscored him since then. But Sar's still ticking over. And one thing he does have over is the minutes. He plays the 90 minutes.
Yeah, he plays. I know. Eze always comes off, even Mateta comes off.
Exactly that. So that's a very positive there. So from midfield perspective, again, I'm not really any panic or any need for a transfer there. So I think I'm going to roll from a midfield perspective. Now, up front is the other place where I do actually have a bit of FOMO, and that is that legend. Like you said, don't bother ever look at his XG, and that's Chris Wood. I was thinking, is it time for me to bring him in? There was one stage I was close to doing it. It would require 2 transfers as well, which is not ideal. But I was considering, do I make that move somehow, make it work, just get him in? What do you think about that? Or no, this is the wrong week.
So if you were to ask me what should I do with the team to improve it, that would be the only thing I would say. Now, the caveat is Jimenez away to Leicester is great, right?
It is,
But the
yeah.
problem is, well, not the problem, but the considerations are he's probably a sell next week. Like Fulham's fixtures after this week are not amazing. Like I'm planning to sell Robinson after this week, or doesn't have to be sold, but he'll be benched after this week and then eventually sold. Because look at after this, okay, home to Man United, you can argue is fine for Jimenez, but then you have away to Newcastle, which is not good, Nottingham Forest, which is not good. So you can get rid of him if you wanted. And so this week you could do it. I would have liked it if you could do it for one free transfer. And by the way, one other thing for Jimenez, does Muniz start this one? Like, are you even sure Jimenez starts?
That is actually a worry that's in my head. And the reason I say that to you is, first of all, the games are in not ridiculous, but they're closer proximity. But also he's played 90 minutes the last 2 games, which has been a rarity, which makes me think they're gonna manage him. Now, again, I could be just overthinking it, and no, he starts the game. Simple as that. But that is on my mind. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm thinking I ride it this week here and then hope, then maybe make the decision next week. But that is something that's on my mind. I agree, because the games are in closer proximity now. Yeah, he's been good.
So,
he's playing well. He's getting shots off. His numbers are everything. He's ticking all the boxes. It's just the returns.
I'm with you. Look, sometimes there is luck in his FPL, right? He did hit the crossbar. He's been unlucky, and especially when you compare to his counterparts who score one shot, one goal. It's been bad luck. But what can you say? It is what it is in terms of outcome. But I think now looking forward, if you are definitely saying that you want Chris Wood for the future, then I think the only moves that make sense are Raul Jimenez to Chris Wood, and to fund it, you get Timber down to. Can you do Konate?
I think so. You know, I tried that. I possibly could. I need to see. Let me see. I'll check that now. But I wouldn't do it this week anyway. I think that'll be for next week. What do you reckon?
No, but
even if I could do it.
Wood, but you want Wood for Southampton, right?
Oh, of course, yes, the entry point. Of course, if you're going to do it, then you definitely want him. That's actually, yeah, I'll have 0.1 spare. Yeah.
So, I mean, you're a Liverpool fan. You need to decide what your Liverpool triple up needs to be. As somebody who does, if you asked me this question, shall I do it? My answer would have been, do you really? I don't think you should, because if you commit to Konate now, what if Jota starts 90-90 next 2 games? Or he won't start 90-90, but at least 70-70. You start going, oh man, I've blocked myself from a third Liverpool. Like, I want to leave the third Liverpool slot as late as possible. And maybe even you want to play the slot chip, right? So you don't even want to commit to the third. Maybe get get Ashley Young or Tarkowski or somebody who you will need, and that could be an option. Because remember, in Game Week 24, why will people want Everton defenders? Why the hell could they need Everton defenders, right? If you go to the fixture ticker, let me just explain. In Game Week 24, it's not only that Everton and Liverpool have a double game week. Our popular defenders that we own, who do Arsenal play? Man City. Now, Arsenal can keep a clean sheet, but do you want a double up? Not really. So a lot of people will say, I'll just sell one Arsenal player. A lot of people have Robinson or Castagna. Who do they play? Away to Newcastle. Not an easy fixture. A lot of people have Munoz. Who do Crystal Palace play? I don't see them here. Away to Man United. So, okay, again, you can say, I will still play Munoz. Doesn't matter. Man United is rubbish. But what I'm trying to say is, all the popular defenders have not great fixtures that week. So it's a good opportunity to basically have a second Liverpool and one Everton defender. It makes your whole team even better. Because let's look at attack. Who does Mbumo have? Home to Spurs. Am I going to go Jota or am I going to buy Mbumo? I'll just buy Mbumo, man. Like a double Liverpool defense plus Mbumo sounds better than a Jota plus playing Robinson away to Newcastle. Like, I would prefer the first option. So if you think about Newcastle play home to Fulham. Why would I sell him for a Jota when I can just play Gordon home to Fulham?
Yeah, no, I'm in agreement with you. The Liverpool point you made, I'm 100% in agreement. I think that's the most difficult. The third Liverpool option, I think a lot of us are already on, whether it's Trent or Van Dijk plus Salah, obviously. Some have already gone early with Diaz, or some are considering Gakpo. But I think the third Liverpool spot, we're almost waiting to try get a bit more information, whether it's or a bit more luck, whatever you want to call it, whether it's an injury or we think Jota's going to start the next two, which I'm not quite sure. It's made it very difficult coming
Yeah.
up. If I'm the same as you. That's the reason I'm not gone there. Even Konate is going to be, I think, or Becca's most probably the safest pick if you can stay fit. But the third Liverpool spot is staying for me until the actual get the last transfer before that game week. For me, that's the reason I wouldn't do it. So if I did do the move, like you said, to bring Chris Wood in, it would be an Everton defender. And then after that, where did we go? I was thinking Mikalenko. It's a nice choice. The minutes are still there, but I know they were looking
Do
for
your
a left
research
back.
on Mikalenko. Yeah, do your research. Speak to some Everton fans. It may just be because you're going early. Maybe a Tarkowski makes more sense. I haven't even paid attention. Like, is Ashley Young an option? I don't know. So maybe the safest one is the guy who plays every minute is just Tarkowski.
Yeah,
Does he play every minute? I have not watched an Everton game in ages. Let me have a look.
That's because they don't score no goals. You don't want to. Even us
the most
FPL
boring, dull games.
Even us
sorry
FPL
for Everton
managers.
fans. Yeah, Tarkowski plays every single minute.
Yeah, Ashley Young
90
is
minutes every game.
Yeah, bit risky to go there. Mikalenko.
I have not done research
90
yet.
minutes as well.
I will do. Yeah, I will do closer to the double, but I think I'll be getting one Everton defender and one Liverpool defender for the reasons that I mentioned. But I'm open, so I don't want to commit yet. I'm open to going somewhere else. Like, by the way, the one reason to not go is next week just get Gakpo for Raul Jimenez.
Yeah.
So that would be
But
one
even
reason not to do it.
Even Gakpo now, at one stage, I started to think Slot has stumbled on this new front three: Gakpo, Diaz, and Salah. But now you could see, even with that flowing at times, you can tell the difference Jota makes. A fully fit one, anyway. I know his last two cameos weren't great. The one against Nottingham Forest was very good. He changed the game. And the point I'm making is with Gakpo, Diaz then goes back onto the left to compete with him for minutes. So you could argue they both become 60-minute players, which is it's frustrating. We want the minutes with these players. So I'm not quite sure if I'm going to go there.
Yeah, look, over the last 1 week, I've listened to 3 podcasts. One podcast said, look, Diaz over the season has the most minutes. He's the pick. Another podcast said, Gakpo is now firmly, he started 7 out of the last 7. He's the pick. And then the third one said, Jota is inevitable. He's going to come back into the team. He's the pick who's going to start both games. Well, all 3 of them cannot start both games by definition. So someone is being overly optimistic, one of those 3, but the answer actually is that nobody knows. You'll have to get very lucky to get 2 starts. And even if you got 2 starts, you'll get 60 odd minutes.
Yeah. Because there's even Nunes.
Sure
Nunes is still there as well. I know a lot of people might laugh at that, but Slot has used him, bringing him on. So and don't expect Jota to come straight into becoming 90 minutes. Even though Slot said that at the conference, he's ready. He's not going to do that. He's got all of these luxuries.
Then he benched him.
Yeah, I know. It's hilarious. Can't listen to managers. But so my thinking with the Liverpool, just going back to the point, I'm going to go back to my team because I do like the idea of getting on board of Chris Wood. And like you said, I could easily get rid of Timber and bring in an Everton defender. Part of me just feels like I'm going to be early, so I need a bit of luck to go my way to make sure that player stays fit. They don't come out of the team because it is a new manager.
That's why get a boring pick. Don't get a Mikalenko. Don't get an Ashley Young, old Ashley Young. I would say just get Tarkowski.
And just roll with
and
that.
Bench him.
Yeah. I think that might be the move, But then who would you get rid of? Oh, yeah, actually, I know your answer. I want to ask you anyway, because people on the pod might be interested to know. They might have a similar scenario to me. Part of me still likes Raul Jimenez a lot, but do you think he's the easy option to be sold and not Pedro?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the fixtures as well, right? Like, I just don't think that Fulham's fixtures now for the foreseeable, and there's a chance that they blank as well in game week 29 if Spurs make it through to the Carabao Cup final. I know it's very minor, and anyway, João Pedro's game is Man City in game week 29, which you may argue is easy or not, but it is still Man City. So, but I just think that I think Jimenez, with the fixtures that he has in the medium term, you don't have to go there. Like, look at even around game week 29, right? When you want these players, like during blanks and stuff, he's away to Brighton in 28, home Liverpool, home Spurs. That's a good one if he has that game. Then away to Arsenal and then home to Liverpool. So he's basically playing Man United, Newcastle, Arsenal, Liverpool, Brighton away in 5 of the next 9, and Nottingham Forest. So 6 of the next 9. I don't think you need to do it, personally speaking. There's another midweek coming up with Jimenez, game week 28, 27, 28, 29 are midweek games. So I just love João Pedro, man. So I'm always going to
I
support
know this is why I want to ask you that question. I knew the answer that was coming back because I tested the waters, I think 2 game weeks ago, and you gave me the same answer. But I'm
it. No,
finding
but
it
tell
hard
me
to disagree.
something. Tell me something.
Yeah,
Let's say
yeah,
you sold João Pedro
yeah.
and bought Chris Wood. Who are you benching then?
I'm benching Jimenez.
So then why are you
Yeah.
holding Jimenez?
Yeah, I think it is because I watch him, and I've been watching a lot of more Fulham. Yeah, we're not watching a lot of Everton, but I'm watching a lot of Fulham. They're good, Pras, and he gets the chances. And mate, I think it's the potential of what I've been
You have
seeing.
to watch João Pedro when Welbeck is fit, and Welbeck is nearly fit.
It,
When João Pedro will play 9, not play 9, and he'll play
yeah,
just behind Welbeck, he'll be much better. He'll still have penalties, but it's close.
no,
I don't want to
and
be
I'm in
biased,
agreement.
but
Go on, Pras.
he's a 90-minute player. Jimenez plays
Yeah,
70 minutes,
yeah,
except for
well,
the more recent games.
yeah, and yeah, it makes perfect sense. But I thought I'd ask your opinion, even though I knew what he was going to say there. But
I am biased, though. I do like João Pedro a lot.
I know you're his #1 fan. But
Well, I
Tom,
benched him this week reluctantly.
yeah, and you got away with it though. Incredible. Anyway, I'm not going to go into that. But the decisions, them 50-50s have gone your way nicely. So this week is either a roll or I hit the double move and Timber and Raul Jimenez out for Wood and an Everton defender. That's looking like the best move for me.
Yep.
You're in agreement there, isn't it?
I like it. But do your research on the Everton defender.
Yeah, I did start
Don't
to have
get
a little.
lazy.
Yeah, no, I
Don't
did
get
start to have a
excited.
little. Yeah, buying Everton players is never fun really, but I suppose Moyes is there now, so let's see. But that's my team. I think that's the only time. Apart from that, it's in good shape. So what about Mbumo? Do you think no issues with him? You're excited, like you said, when we come onto your team, that's a
I'm
good
looking
segue
to
to your
buy
team.
him in 2 weeks.
Exactly. So then I shouldn't even consider freeing up money there, should I? Nah, he's been too good.
A great pick, man. Like I miss him every time I watch him. I'm like, what the hell am I doing not having Boomo in my team?
A lot of the big clubs are looking at him. Have you heard that as well?
They are. So this is why I'm happy to wait on. Like, okay, I think it's a good transition to my team.
Yeah.
Like I am now on 2 free transfers. I hope to be on 5 free transfers by game week 24, and then basically attack game week 24. Actually, I'll be on 4 by game week 24, and then hopefully, after that, become 5 in a couple of weeks after. And I don't want to do anything with the team because our midfield is the same. Like I have Bruno home to Brighton versus Bumo home to Liverpool. Similar, I would say. Bumo has a little bit more potential, I suppose, but Bruno has a slightly better fixture. Then I have Chris Wood in attack, and instead of your Lewis Hall, I have Robinson away to Leicester, which is also good. So team is good. I'm going to roll to 3 free transfers. But the idea is that in game week 24, I want to get a third Liverpool. It could be Konate for Robinson. It could be Pickford for Raya. Or it could be Allison for Raya. It could be whichever Everton defender is looking good. Those are the routes I'm looking at. I highly doubt I'll do João Pedro to an Everton striker like Calvert-Lewin. I know people will laugh, but wait, if he scores 1 goal, people will say David Moyes is back or whatever. So I'm not ruling it out. But I think the only midfield transfer that I'm looking at is maybe Gordon to Mbomo in game week 25. Because Gordon
that's a difficult sell though, the way Gordon's been at the moment.
Yeah, but fixtures are king, man. Like fixtures are king. Boomer's fixtures are good. Gordon's fixtures are bad. Both are good picks. So you play the pawn that has good fixtures. So, or it could be Bruno, by the way. If Bruno blanks in the next couple of games, and I could lose frustration, I could be frustrated and say, you know what, just Bruno back to Mbumo, and I get to your midfield that you have. That's also open. I'm not ruling that out either.
You mentioned a minute ago when you was considering triple Liverpool. I heard you mention Konate and Allison, but you didn't. So that means you're veering away from more than likely assistant manager. So you didn't mention Slot, or is that something that could still change considering it?
Yeah,
when it gets closer.
Yeah, of course. That's why I want to have 4 free transfers going into game week 24.
Okay.
That if needed, I'll just play the Arne Slot chip, but for that I'll have to release money. So I'll still need to do transfers even to get Arne Slot in. But Look, we are going to go into a chip strategy session, which we can do closer to the time.
Yeah.
But the only way I will play, because I don't like Liverpool's double. Like, okay, I get it. A lot of people will use the triple captain because they have to, right? Yeah, just like I did or we did in a
Yeah.
single game week.
Yeah.
But it's not a good double at all. Like in a normal any other season, people would just say, "Nah, I'm not touching this double." Away to Bournemouth, where Bournemouth have beaten Man City, Arsenal. Not that Liverpool will lose, but that's not a haul.
It's
Away
not a
to
thrashing
Everton,
game.
so you could see Mo getting like 2 returns, 2 appearance points. That's 15 points. It's fair. It's okay.
Yeah.
It's what you want from a triple captaincy. But I'm not scared of it. So certainly I don't want to play my assistant manager chip to attack that. The only way I will play my assistant manager chip is going to get complicated. But there is a chance that Spurs and Fulham will double in game week 25. Do you know about this?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a
I don't
small
know.
chance.
Yeah, but what do you know? What we're relying on for that to happen?
Yeah. Yeah.
What?
So next week we need Spurs to win their Europa League tie.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the first thing. Why do they need to win? Because then they will finish in the top 8 of the Europa League. So then their midweeks become free in game week 24 and game week 25. Then
So
we
that was
need
it.
the Premier League to say, oh, Spurs could reach the final of the Europa League. Spurs could reach the final of the FA Cup. And Spurs could reach the final of the Carabao Cup. Now, people will be laughing at this, that you're talking about Spurs, right? But the Premier League could decide that if that all happens, then Spurs don't have enough slots to basically schedule 3 postponements. You only have 2 double game weeks this year, remember, game week 34 and game week 36. So they could say, you know what, this blank that could be caused in game week 29, which is Spurs versus Fulham, they could move to game week 25. And so therefore, this is lower likelihood, but I'm just trying to explain the logic. So if we end up in a scenario where we have a double game week 24 and a double game week 25, then assistant manager chip is played for sure.
Yeah,
That's the
then
thinking.
you've got okay. So if you don't get that double, you're more than likely it goes pretty cold for you. The assistant manager.
Exactly.
Wait.
Now
Okay.
I have to clarify one other thing because I've gotten into chip strategy, which I love to do, but I don't want to do in every podcast. If the game week 25 double is announced, it will be provisionally announced. Right now the Liverpool double is not confirmed.
Yeah. Yeah.
Liverpool also have to finish in the top 8 of the Europa League.
Which is almost certain, to be
almost
fair.
certain.
Yeah.
But for Spurs, it's going to be, if it is announced, you know what it'll be contingent on? Spurs beating Liverpool at Anfield to reach the final of the Carabao Cup.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
So they could announce it in game week 23 and say Spurs will have a double game week in game week 25. You will go into game week 24 deadline saying, okay, Spurs might have a double. But if they lose to Liverpool at Anfield, it'll go.
That's very difficult.
Up in the air.
Yeah,
It's
I see what you mean.
very
The timelines are very difficult for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think knowing the Premier League, then actually I shouldn't say this.
They won't do it
on Spurs. They won't do it. They'll think Spurs ain't going to make 3 finals, surely, Pras. So there'll be enough space for them.
Technically, they could only make 2 finals, Carabao Cup final and the Europa League final. And Aston Villa can make the FA Cup final, and still it would be a problem because Aston Villa are their opponents in game week 37. But this is way too much planning. In short, to answer your question, I won't probably be playing any chip in game week 24. I'll just be looking to get a triple up on Liverpool and get one more Everton player. And then all the focus after game week 24 will be how do we navigate the rest of the season.
All right. So then you're Liverpool third attacker like me. You're waiting for the last transfer possible. So for maximum information, because it could, in theory, if you get, would you go Jota if you think there's
I'm open to going Gordon to Jota to Bumo, like as a hop on.
Yeah.
I'm open to going Chris Wood to Gakpo if it opens up. But the most likely, like I said, will be Konate instead of Robinson, or it will be Alisson instead of Raya. Those just make logical sense to me because I want the Liverpool pick to stay in my team for a long time, ideally. Because Liverpool, if they have a blank, then they'll have a double. So I want to basically, if game week 29 they have a blank, if they do end up beating Spurs, then I want them for the double in 33 if I don't wildcard before then. So I want these picks long term.
You're not concerned by the way Liverpool's been conceding chances and goals. I mean, I've been watching. Obviously, I watch. Yeah, I've been a little bit concerned. It's not for some reason recently we've been freeing up chances not like how he was at the start of the season. We looked a bit more solid. Recently, we have been giving up chances and we've been punished for them. But I saw even a statistic the other day that Alisson, who I absolutely love, his ratio since he's come back from injury of conceding chances is one of the highest in the Prem. So yeah, the double Liverpool defense, I'm not sure how much that fills me with confidence at the moment. That's why I would prefer the double attack. Liverpool are still scoring goals, so it's a tricky one. That's why I'm going to wait for more information. It could be an injury or something.
I mean, we could see. We'll see. We'll see what works out. I mean, the good thing is, if you have Fabianski, then Alisson works well because you could, and if Fabianski keeps his place,
That's
then you could play Alisson, you could play Fabianski in the blank in game week 29, and then it's actually a nice pairing. Even Pickford actually rotates okay with Fabianski if he keeps his place. When Pickford is away to Brentford, then Fabianski is home to Leicester. So there are fixtures where you could actually take advantage of a Pickford Fabianski pairing as well. But you don't need to worry about that. You have the best keeper in the game. So
who sells, at the moment, he's unreal. So yeah, you're in a good position. It's roll from, I think, both of us. I'm the one that's more likely this week to me. You're definitely not making a transfer unless there's a bad injury.
We have not talked about the most important thing, Mo.
Okay, this is a juicy conversation. So last week, me and you both went Palmer. I was always Palmer, if I'm honest. You was closer to Isak, so you was very unlucky.
I was 100% Isak, but that's
wasn't you?
Press conference. Yeah.
So you was unfortunate there. Now we come again this week where the two premiums both have. I think Liverpool's fixture is more difficult. Obviously, Brentford. I mean, they did give chances to Manchester City still. And then you've got Palmer at Wolves at home. For me, that's too tempting. Your captaincy is currently on him. My one is on Palmer as well. I've not been tempted this week, Pras, to consider anyone else. What about you?
I am more tempted this week for Salah because I know Brentford would concede chances. But then I just feel that Wolves were very open against Newcastle. Palmer, even if he's getting 10 pointers when Chelsea are not even winning.
Yeah.
Imagine if they churn out a game in which Chelsea score 3. So I'm just feeling maybe it's a little bit of, I don't know if you can say the word on YouTube, or it's fine, cockiness. I just think, okay, you take on Salah once and it works, and you go, why not again? Why not try again? And some people will basically be on Isak again. They'll go guys, he's chasing a record. He's chasing Vardy's record. They're on the form of their lives, and I want to captain Isak. That's also fair enough. Now, Bournemouth are harder. But then this week we captained Palmer against Bournemouth, right? And it worked out. But then midfielder versus striker, this is where the difference comes. Like a midfielder with 1 goal, 3 bonus gets double digit. For a striker, you need to double return. Now, Isak could double return, but it's harder. So I think Palmer is where I'm landing at the moment as well.
Same as me. Isak currently at the moment, I look at him score. He will score in that game. Newcastle and him, they've just got that momentum. Call it form, call it whatever you want to call it. They really are flying and they're playing good football. I see him scoring 1 goal. Does he score 2 or 3? I'm not sure. Palmer, that finish alone, Praz, that goal,
how is he so composed in front of goal?
He is a player, He is, since he got the ball, he knew what he was going to do before anyone. He just sat the goalkeeper down and placed it out. The point I'm getting at, he's so confident, even though Chelsea had a little dip in their attacking numbers recently, and maybe they've gone out of the title race. I don't think anyone's talking about them now in title race, but he's still such a threat that I like this fixture. I like him, and I can't see it. I'm more than happy if Salah does go all out against Brentford because we actually need the win to bounce back. But Palmer for me this week. I can't look past it.
Yep, I'm with you. Let's see. Hope so. And there's the Monday night game, which is fun.
Yeah,
when Salah
exactly.
cooks us on sets. When is he playing? Saturday or Sunday?
Yeah.
At least we have some hope on Monday,
Yeah, something to look forward to. That's a psychological thing. It never really works. I mean, sometimes it does. People, for example, today that had Ahmad the last game, look at that, how they were rewarded. Hopefully we're rewarded like that with Palmer. But I think this week, the spread last week was how we expected it. This week I'm intrigued. I think it will be a bit more tighter, actually. I think Salah, Palmer and Isak will be a bit more tighter. But I think that's us covered everything, Pras, or is there anything else that we
That's
need to
everything
cover?
covered. Yeah, good chat. Short deadline, so we kept it. Well, we always keep it to 40 minutes. So, good luck to everybody. Thank you for listening, and thank you for the nice comments. We got some nice comments on that you're enjoying this type of content. We try to use our teams as a thing to discuss things broadly, but we can't cover everything. Like, should we keep Jackson and things like that? There's other long form contents for that. Scoutcast, burning questions. But hopefully you like what we do. We try to keep it casual, we try to keep it friendly, and that's the type of thing we'll do on Deadline Dilemmas.
Yeah, so keep the comments and like the video, and please subscribe if you're not already subscribed. So on that note, I'm gonna wish you good luck and take it easy. Bye bye.
Take care. Bye bye.